My name's Matthew Evangelista, that's the American pronunciation. I've taught at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York for most of my career, but now I spend about half my time in Italy, where I've become affiliated with universities in Milan, Rome, Bologna, and Florence. I have relatives on the Italian side of my family who served in the U.S. Army during the war, but the topic really first caught my attention when my family and I were living in Tuscany, and I visited the British Commonwealth War Cemetery outside Florence. I realized how many people from all over the world had fought for Italy's liberation. Later, I encountered a darker side of that experience when I read the wartime diary of Iris Origo, an Anglo-American woman who married into the Italian aristocracy and spent the war years on an estate in rural Tuscany. Origo's reports of civilians bombed by Allied aircraft and strafed by machine gun from the air caught my attention. Following the armistice of September 8, 1943, Italy was no longer an enemy, yet more Italians died from Allied bombing after the armistice than before. I became curious about what were the attitudes of Allied air crews toward the people they were ostensibly liberating, and what did the Italians think of the people who were bombing their country to liberate them? I wrote a book that I called Bombing Among Friends, but the publisher preferred the more informative title, Allied Air Attacks and Civilian Harm in Italy, 1940 to 1945. It's available to download for free through open access. One of the more interesting things I discovered in researching the book was the nature of the cooperation between the Allied forces and the Italian anti-fascist partisans. The partigiani were fighting against the German Nazi occupiers and their Italian collaborators, and they were aided by the Allied forces. There's a field near where I spend part of the year in Piedmont, in northwestern Italy, where Allied air units dropped supplies for the partisans, who were in desperate need of food, clothing, and weapons. But much of what the air forces did was bomb bridges, tunnels, railroad stations, and other infrastructure, often at the cost of civilian lives. The partisans realized that if they could sabotage those targets before the Allies bombed them, they could help in the war effort and protect Italian civilians. It's one of the many fascinating aspects of this difficult period that I uncovered in my research, and I'm pleased to be able to share with a broader public.